Hi everyone, welcome to Vision Medical Training Class. My name is Dr. V. I am International Product Marketing Specialist of Vision Medical. I am going to take about 20 minutes to sharing some information with you, and I wish all of our partners can achieve success. When I did this training class, I put myself in the role of learner. If I'm going to sell a product, what do I need to know? I would ask two questions: who is this company? That's mean who are we? What is the product? As we know, our product is flexible video endoscope, so the next question would be, what is flexible video endoscope and what endoscopes is used for? So today, in this training course I am going to answer these four questions, so that everyone has a preliminary understanding of our company and products. Here is a very good example of why doctors need endoscopes. Someone said even if patients were transparent, your doctor couldn't see enough. We need a tool can help us to see our organs clearly and directly. Endoscopy has a great derivation. Endo from within and the word scopy, which means to observe. The endoscope is an important tool for humans to explore their own internal organs. The development of endoscopy mainly went through four stages: rigid endoscopy, 1806 to 1932; semi-flexible endoscope, 1932 to 1957; fiber endoscopy, after 1957; electronic endoscopy, after 1983, and electronic endoscopy has become the mainstream endoscope. But the very first endoscopes really date back to the 19th century. They were semi-flexible instruments, with poor optics and weren't particularly useful. In 1951, an optical physicist called Harold Hopkins was at a dinner party in London. He was talking to a gastroenterologist who was a little bit upset about the lack of finesse of the instruments. What he really wanted was an instrument that was flexible, had good optics, a good light source, and enabled the tip to be manipulated in many different directions. So Hopkins went away and thought about that, and he knew a little bit about the Renaissance, Venetian glass blowers, and how they bent light around corners and glass, and he started experimenting with narrow tubes of glass. In 1954 he published his prototype in Nature, a flexible prototype of the modern endoscope. Since very early in the scopes we now have quite advanced instruments. Medical endoscopy is becoming more and more popular in clinical applications, and it is developing towards miniaturization, multifunction, and high-definition quality. So, nowadays there are many kinds of endoscopy. We categorized it in several different ways, in order to understand what endoscopy we are selling on. According to the appearance, there is rigid endoscope, flexible endoscope, and semi-flexible. Rigid endoscope is used in human anatomy where there is no bend or less curve, for example arthroscope, laparoscope. Flexible endoscope, it is used for human anatomy in larger parts with more curvatures. For example, GI endoscope, bronchoscope, cystoscopy, ureteroscopy, colonoscopy, enteroscopy. Semi-flexible, there is only one semi-flexible endoscope. It's semi-rigid ureteroscopy. It needs more flexibility than a rigid endoscope. According to the principle of optics, there is digital endoscopy and optical endoscopy. The photosensitive element is placed in the endoscope. We say it is a digital endoscope. There is no camera, there is no eyepiece cup, and you cannot see directly with your eyes. The photosensitive element is placed outside the endoscope. We say it is an optical endoscope. There is a camera, there is an eyepiece cup, and you can see directly with your eyes. So for now, we know that our endoscope is flexible/digital endoscope. And here remind me when the first time I visit a customer to introduce our product to him. He said, what I'm looking for, it's a fiber optic bronchoscope. Sometimes, not only dealers think a fiber optic endoscope is better than a video endoscope, even our customer. That is why we always need to learn and be professional to give them appropriate advice. So, what is a fiber optic bronchoscope? And what is the difference between fiber optic bronchoscope and video/digital bronchoscope, or any endoscope, not just bronchoscope? The two basic types of flexible endoscopes are the fiber optic endoscope and video endoscope. The difference between them is in the method of sensing and transmitting images. In a fiber optic endoscope, the image is carried from the distal tip of the endoscope to the eyepiece via bundles of optical glass fibers. In a true video endoscope, the image is transmitted electronically to a video monitor from the distal tip of the endoscope, where it is sensed by a charge-coupled device, CCD, chip. Fiber optics consisting of a bundle of flexible glass fibers able to coherently transmit an image. There were physical limits to the image quality of a fiberscope. A bundle of say 50,000 fibers gives effectively only a 50,000 pixel image, and continued flexing from use breaks fibers and so progressively loses pixels. Eventually so many are lost that the whole bundle must be replaced, at considerable expense. Video imaging offers distinct advantages in terms of operator comfort, client relations, teaching, and documentation. Video imaging also enables the endoscopist to work more effectively with any assistants who are helping with the procedure. The mechanical functions of a video endoscope are similar to those of a fibroscope. Furthermore, the insertion tube still contains glass fibers as LG bundles, needed to deliver light to the tip of the endoscope and illuminate the area being viewed. The primary difference lies in the way the image is transmitted. Instead of a fiber optic image, the video endoscope transmits an electronic image that is sensed by a CCD or CMOS chip at the distal tip of the insertion tube just behind the objective lens. A CCD is a semiconductor capable of converting an optical image, photons, into an electrical signal, electrons, that is then carried via wires along the length of the video endoscope to a processor. The processor converts this electronic information into a standard video signal that can be distributed to devices such as monitors, digital capture systems, and printers. Although fibroscopes usually are less expensive than video endoscopes, the cost of the latter has recently come down and the image quality of video endoscopes is far superior to that of fibroscopes. Figure 1.3. Because the image produced by a video endoscope is not fiber optic, it will never contain the honeycomb pattern or broken fibers seen as black dots in a fiber optic image. The features of fibroscopes and video endoscopes are compared in Table 1:1. Durability. The fibers in fibroscopes are thin and fragile. The fact that they are made of glass doesn't help matters either. In other words, they can easily be damaged if not handled properly. There is also a way for you to find out when your fibroscope has been damaged. Any damage will be exhibited as black dots, and you will also experience a decrease in the quality of the projected image. The presence of fiber optic strands is also the reason for limited articulation capability spanning no more than 90 degrees. Video borescopes, on the other hand, are far more shock resistant than fibroscopes. This means that they can be easily bent, folded and maneuvered without damaging them. This is also why they have articulating capability that is far superior to fibroscopes, so much that a user can turn the tip of his device backwards if he needs to. Image resolution. Fibroscopes can come with a video image display system attached. However, the displayed image will be indirect. In other words, the projection will be from the fiber optic bundle that captures the original image. Also, since fibroscopes are made by the fiber optic technology, they may be prone to exhibit black dots or broken pixels. This might seem like a minor difference between the two, but any difference in image quality should be seen as a major one. Unlike a fibroscope, a video borescope consists of a miniature video camera attached to the distal end of the insertion tube. The camera is designed to capture a digital image. The captured video signal is then carried through the insertion probe to the video display unit. Cost of repair. If your fiber optic probe is damaged enough to render it useless, you might have to rebuild the entire unit. Generally, the cost of such a repair job is over 50% of what you originally got the device for. Needless to say, it will be anything but cheap. A video borescope is designed as a modular unit and can be disassembled into individual parts. The parts include a battery, probe cable and probe tip amongst others. Each of these can be replaced without the owner having to repair the entire unit. This last thing is about the two different technology in videoscope. CCD and CMOS technology. For a long time, the CCD sensor was the prevalent technology for capturing high-quality, low-noise images. But CCD sensors are expensive to manufacture, so they often come with a higher price tag. They also consume more power than CMOS sensors, sometimes 100 times more. Luckily, CMOS sensor technology has advanced to the point where it is fast approaching the quality and capabilities of CCD technology, and with a significantly lower price tag, smaller size, and power consumption. Modern cameras have decreased in size thanks to the growing capabilities of the CMOS sensor. Featuring previously unheard-of resolutions, low light sensitivity, on-pixel innovations, and RGB near-color filter array options, CMOS sensors are taking the place of CCD for the manufacture of cameras and imaging solutions for the majority of industrial, medical and scientific applications. So, what type of endoscope Vision Medical is producing? Yes, it's flexible, digital, video endoscope, with CMOS tech. Why did we choose the direction of this product? It's not so much that we chose it as that we just went with the demands of the market. Everyone knows that endoscopy market is mainly occupied by German and Japanese companies. I don't know other countries, but in China more than 10 years ago, 99% bought Olympus in stores, but China's healthcare system can only allow frontline hospitals to buy such expensive products, and grassroots hospitals do not have the funds to buy such expensive endoscope, which means that they do not have the ability to carry out related business also. Then there was a doctor in our initial team who saw such an opportunity to create a Chinese brand of electronic endoscopes and popularize electronic endoscopes. It is such an idea, and the original intention of us we make every endoscope affordable, that put us on the road to developing electronic endoscopes. We chose a direction that is relatively less technically difficult, but can maximize the benefits of primary hospitals' portable electronic endoscope. Our founder and R&D team were the first team in China to develop and produce portable electronic endoscopes. Okay, which kind? Bronchoscope, rhinolaryngoscope, ureteroscope, cystoscope. Bronchoscope, an instrument, bronchoscope, is inserted into the airways, usually through the nose or mouth, or occasionally through a tracheostomy. This allows the practitioner to examine the patient's airways for abnormalities such as foreign bodies, bleeding, tumors, or inflammation. Specimens may be taken from inside the lungs. The construction of bronchoscopes ranges from rigid metal tubes with attached lighting devices to flexible optical fiber instruments with real-time video equipment. We can recommend to the respiratory department, ICU department of anesthesiology and others department involving airway management. In China, we say that as long as there is a specialized ICUs, they will need a bronchoscope. For example, pediatric ICU, heart center, oncology. Because their patients are bedridden and intubated for a long time, airway management is required. Rhinolaryngoscopes use fiber optic or video technology to examine, diagnose and evaluate the normal physiologic and pathologic conditions of, among other organs, the larynx. Only for ENT. Flexible ureteroscope is for treatment of ureteric or kidney stones. Flexible cystoscopy is a procedure, performed under local anesthetic, that allows your doctor to look at the interior lining of the bladder and the urethra, tube draining the urine to the outside, using a thin flexible tube with a tiny camera attached. Thank you. Today we learn a brief history of endoscopy. The next course will be talk about the product itself and advantages. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.